In this video, I'm going to show how to solve a polynomial equation. To solve a polynomial equation, we have to use the zero product property, and that means we have to have the polynomial in factored form. So the key to the solution of this equation is in factoring this polynomial. So let's go ahead and factor this polynomial first. Step one is to check for the greatest common factor among all parts of the polynomial. So here we see that everything has 2x, so we can factor out 2x from every term. So what's left is x cubed minus x squared minus 8. 8 becomes 4x plus 4. Now in what's left, we look at the number of terms, and depending on that number we do the next step. So here we have more than 3 terms. That means the only chance in factoring it is to find the appropriate grouping. So let's try grouping the first 2 together and the last 2 together. So what's going to happen then? The first 2 together have x squared in common, and then x minus 1 is left. The last 2 have 4 in common, but since the first 4 has negative in front, I'm going to factor out negative 4. What's left is x minus 1. So looking at this polynomial, we see that they both have x minus 1. So factoring out x minus 1 gives us this. So inspect this polynomial once again. It's a binomial, and the only way we can factor binomial is by using the difference of squares or the difference of cubes or the sum of the cubes formula. So here we notice that this is actually the difference of squares, so this can be factored into x minus 2 and x plus 2. So this is the complete factorization of this polynomial. So this is something that has to be done every time you solve a polynomial equation. Now back to the equation. Once we know the factorization of the polynomial, we rewrite the polynomial on the left side of the equation in factored form. And then use the zero product property. According to the zero product property, if the product of factors is equal to 0, that means one of them is equal to 0. So in our case, that means x equals to 0, or x minus 2 equals to 0, or x plus 2 equals to 0, or x minus 1 equals to 0. That means x equals 0, x equals 2, or x equals negative 2, or x equals 1. So the solution set of this polynomial equation is 0, 2, negative 2, and 1. So we solved this polynomial equation by first factoring and then using the zero product property.